Welcome to my 35th DV Drive crashing video, or live stream rather. Let's see. So before we start, I'm trying to decide on and figure out how I need to get the camera setting before we do start. So for a moment while I try to get the camera set up a little better the best I can. Let's see. It's crooked. Probably gonna be kind of crooked camera. Well, I wish I could do something about the camera and get it a little better than that, but I don't really know what else to do about that. But for the most part, I hope you can all see and hear everything okay. I know the view from the camera probably isn't really all that great, but I'm doing what I can with it. So hope you can see that. Don't know if can good or not. You guys let me know if you can see this okay or not. How I have it is probably really the best I can get it, but anyways, this is where we had left off last, using the grid map this time, because the other map we had used was the industrial site maps. We used the container land map, and we would use the car hauler truck, which I have set up here on the drag strip, because we're going to use it as a ramp to go over and crash the vehicle. And I know I could just use like a regular ramp, but I like to just kind of use the car hauler truck instead as a ramp, because it tends to not really move around as much when you have it in park, instead of the regular metal ramp. It tends to be moved around or damaged a lot more than this would be instead. So that's why I use this. It just kind of seems a little easier for me to use. But anyway, like I was saying, normally would have used the Containerland map, but I tried using it a little bit ago. The game had a new update recently, a new major update recently, and part of it was a new vehicle that was added to the game, which I'll show after we crash test these two vehicles, because these are the two we used the last time. We used this vehicle, which is the let's see, which was it? We used the Bruckle car over here, so we're going to use the police car version of it instead, compared to the one of the regular ones of it we had used. And the reason why we didn't use the Containerland map like I did the last time for crash test video is because I think because of the new update. If you have like more than 2 or 3 cars spawned in on that map for whatever reason, now it will crash the game, unfortunately. So really only thing I could do with that map now is have at least like 1 or 2 vehicles spawned in and nothing over on the blocked off bridge to um, use it as a ramp to go over or crash now. And we just have to crash into the barrier there pretty much. So we might do that at some point eventually and do that instead, because if not it'll crash the game, and I had to reset everything up again because it crashed the game. So I'm using the grid map instead. But we have the based in vehicle spawned in again. We had one of the regular ones spawned in last time. We're using the police car version of it this time instead. And the other vehicle we have spawned in is the Civetta Bold, which we used the last time as well. I'm starting off with these two because they're the ones we used last time. And the new vehicle that had been added to the game is this vehicle here. It's called the Cinquecilla. Said that right or not, or pronounced it right, but it's the best I can do. It's basically a high-end sports car that had been added to the game. It's a sport model with a higher revving engine for ultimate fun on the streets. Country is Italy. Derby class midsize car. Value $210,000 would be its value in, I guess, today's money, which really would probably be more than that. It'd be more like probably about $1 million or so. And brand is Civetta and body style is coupe. Weighs 3,329 pounds. Years 2020 to 2022. And these are the different versions of it that you can use. We got the GT version, GT Spider, which is convertible, and then the one that's on right here right now is the GTS version. And we've got the GTS Spider, also convertible, off-road version, police car version of it as well, GTX Spider, convertible, custom version of it, Velocity, I don't know how to say that. That's, I guess, kind of like its like electric version, I believe. Let me look at it right quick. It says limited edition top speed version, developed for fast autobahn cruising, sacrifices cornering performance for pure straight line speed. So, I think so. It's more in price. It's $264,000 in price. And there's the GTS Course Spider, also convertible. And there's Dark Owl movie car, which is something special that they added to the game for this vehicle, which we will use at some point. Here's what it says for the overview part of it. It says, hot off the set of Dark Owl 2, Striking Talons, this is the last surviving car from the film's stunt fleet, built for form over function. It makes for a truly dangerous and unforgettable driving experience. Valued at $280,000 and weighs 3,406 pounds. And to be honest, this car I've already used almost all these cars already, because as soon as I saw it had a new major update, I installed it or downloaded the update, and it was probably the second car for this vehicle that I used, and I really like it. I like all these for this new vehicle that was added. But I've also got the amateur rally asphalt version of it, drag race version, and a regular racing version of it as well. And we're going to use basically probably this regular one here after we crash test these first two vehicles. But I wanted to show it to I'm gonna show it to you guys first before we crash test it after I spawn it in. I really like the look of it and design of it as well. So let's get out of this. Just get out of that. Alright, we're going to start engine up for this vehicle, because we're going to crash test with it first. And if you guys are enjoying the new stream so far, please let me know in the comments below, and please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this first. Oops, we oversteered by accident there. I reset it right quick, because that's not what I wanted to happen. Alright. Not exactly what I was hoping would happen. Going over it first time with that. Really probably needed to go a little faster than that, but that's still fine though. We still almost partially went over though. At least we needed to break the back of that off anyways, which we did because it's laying here on the ground now. We also did damage to the back of the cab a little bit too. Also the front of it apparently. Busted out the passenger side front window. Driver's side though is still good. I appear to have ripped almost the entire front end of the car off. Let's see if it'll still run. It won't. Still running, but it won't go anywhere now because of the driver's side axle shaft being damaged now. So it's not gonna do anything or go anywhere because of that. We'll try it one more time just to get it how we want it, and for whatever reason, reset it to there. Which is where I wanted it. So let's come back in. And get it back to over here. This will pick up in speed. And try that again. There we go. Now we got what we wanted. Pretty nice big crash there out of this vehicle that we just got. Engine has some damage done to it because it's was showing red there, and we have damaged and broken the driver's side rear axle shaft for the engine. So even though the engine is still running, it is damaged a little bit. It does still want to drive and move, but because that axle shaft is damaged, it's now no longer going to go anywhere, and apparently is losing oil from what it said on the top right corner of my screen because of the damage done to it. What's underneath, how it now looks after. Let's get an interior view to see and decide on if the driver would have lived. The driver would be okay mostly because it has a roll cage. So in this type of particular crash, the driver probably would have been banged up a little bit, maybe some scrapes and bruises. But other than that, he or she would probably be okay from this crash. Now the car itself, though, judging by the amount of damage done to it, would probably end up having to be totaled or could be repaired. It would take a lot of work to repair it, and quite a bit of money as well. But other than that, the most important thing is the driver would be okay from that. So we're gonna reset it to over here. We're gonna spawn in a different vehicle though, not the newest vehicle, because I want it for there where the police car is. Which actually we must back that vehicle up further this way as well, so we can get more speed out of them. And yes, I do know it's been a while from when I did a BG Drive crash test video last. It's been almost 4 months from the last time I did one. I did not mean for it to be that long. And the reason why it had been that long is because I've been kind of busy lately. So that would be why. Mostly because of school and work. Both. I just finished school yesterday. Yesterday was my last day of class for steering and suspension for automotive. Just finished it yesterday. And that was all my classes that I had to take for automotive. So now I just gotta wait for my diploma to come in the mail, since I now already graduated, which was a few months back. Like a couple months or so back, I had already graduated. I had to retake steering and suspension because I failed it, and they were not going to give me my diploma until after I had retaken the class. And so now I should be getting my diploma in the mail, because I believe I this time. Yeah, you gotta have at least above like 60 for grade in the whole class. I got like about 81 or 82 for my grade in the whole class. So I should hopefully be passing it. The only thing now is I gotta wait for the diploma to come in the mail and keep an eye out on my school email as well. Account too. So, and the school I've been going to is a school I was going to is a college, by the way. Name of the college is CVCC, which stands for Catawba Valley Community College, is the name of the school that I went to. That way, if any of you guys were wondering, you now know. So, doing the police car, going to turn on the lights, turn on its emergency lights or light bar first, and back it up this way, away first, so we can get more speed out of it. Back up like this way until we see that other vehicle there, which is how we want it. Let's stop right here, because I'm going to turn the sirens for on. And to do that, you hit the escape button, which is the ESC button in the top right. No, not top right, top left. No, yeah, top left corner of the keyboard. Click on electrics here, and click on light bar again. Click on it once to turn on the lights, and click on it again to turn the sirens on. Alright, let's go ahead and crash test it. Went into the wall as we crashed it. And to turn it off, it turns off both things. It turns the sirens and the lights off altogether. Go back to it through electrics, click the light bar again, and it turns it off. And let's take a look at the aftermath of the damage done to it. from that wreck. So we've damaged pretty much mostly the front end of it, and we've lost the rear bumper as well. Front end is pretty heavily damaged, busted the rear window as well. From the interior, the driver it appears would be okay. Passenger would as well as anyone in the back seat. Whoever were to have been arrested and going to jail, they'd be okay as well. Probably. Don't think they have seatbelts though for them, because they're handcuffed, so they don't do anything and can't do anything really. But let's see if we can still drive it. Yeah, we can kind of still drive it. Let's keep driving it and see if we can crash it into something like over here. I'm going to use holes here at the end. Might be difficult to do because it is a little more difficult to steer it now because of the wreck. And that killed it for damage to the drive shaft and the engine altogether from that secondary crash there out of it that we just did. And now, for whatever reason, the exhaust is sticking up through the passenger side door as well. I don't know why it's like that, but it now is. In real life, it wouldn't be. It'd be crushed up underneath the car somewhere. And that's the transmission sticking out downwards now. That's why the drive shaft broke. And that's what's left of the front end now, which is now twisted around this way, and it bowed out both the doors from the impact of the crash, and the rear axle appears to have been shoved up this way towards the front. And let's see how it now looks from the inside. Now, from this secondary crash, yes, passenger and driver would not have lived from that, especially because the steering wheel is now lifted all the way up towards, the roof of the car. And anyone in the back seat, they probably wouldn't have lived either, because that bolster or whatever it is that's called right here for in between the driver and the passenger seat up front has been crushed inwards towards the front from that crash. But let's reset it now after that. We're going to let it reset all the way back here. So that's where we want it. Back it up a little further than that. About the same distance as the other car we have over here is where we want it. And spawn in the new vehicle that had been added to the game, because I want to show it to you guys first before we crash it. I've already talked a little bit about it towards the beginning of this stream. I want to show it spawned in and before we crash it and drive it. also, if you guys didn't know, my birthday is coming up in about a month from now. Well, yeah, basically about a month from now. My birthday will be in September on the 9th. That's when my birthday is, and it's coming up pretty soon now. I'm now almost 21 years old, is how old I will be this year. So we're going to replace current. Vehicle layer. Check for any comments. I do not see any right now at the moment, which is okay. But yes, if you guys want to ask me anything or something, let me know in the comments. Alright, well here's the new car or vehicle spawn, and I really like the design and look of it. It really does look like a sports car, a really high-end, expensive one, and it does have a rear engine. The rear engine is a V10 engine, which means it has 10 pistons in it. And what that means is the engine is basically in a V shape, and it has 5 pistons on the driver's side of it and 5 pistons on the passenger side of it as well. That is why it's called a V10 engine or V8, V6 engine, which are some other engines that are out there, as well as a V12 engine. V12 is what most Lamborghinis and I think Ferrari uses as well. That is 6 pistons on the right side and left side of the engine if you're looking at it from the front of it. This is from underneath the vehicle. It's got kind of like some protective skid plates here in the front, as well as a center one for helping protect the drive shaft, though this is where the drive shaft is. It's actually back here inside the transmission and engine itself. And here in the transmission is where it's attached to. Same thing on the other side of it, and that's how it drives and moves when you go to drive it. That's for vehicles that have a rear engine. And vehicles that are, say, front-wheel drive, that means the engine and transmission both are in the same area, like the rear engine. It's in the engine compartment together, and that means the engine is basically sideways. So the engine is going to be here, transmission is going to be here on this side of it. And behind the transmission, towards where the drive shaft would normally be, which is in between the vehicle, that is where the axle, which is the drive shaft for that the particular type of engine or engines, which is pretty much the same thing as a rear engine, which is called rear wheel drive or rear wheel drive engine, which is what this vehicle is rear wheel drive, for example. That's because the engine is in the rear instead of the front. So, and then there's also four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, which is all four tires or wheels are driven by the engine. And all-wheel or four-wheel drive vehicles do have a drive shaft, and that is in the center instead of the half shafts, and it's longer. And you're going to have something that's called a differential in the rear for the rear axle. There's some vehicles that are two-wheel drive, like my truck, that does have a rear axle and drive shaft, and the engine is in the front. And how it works is the engine is in the front here. Transmission will be about here in this area, and that is what drives the drive shaft. It turns the drive shaft, which is in the center of the vehicle, and then that turns the gears inside the differential, and that turns the rear tires or wheels, thus moving the vehicle or driving the vehicle. And that's how it moves and drives for vehicles like that. And there's some more about that to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about the rest of that right now, because I don't know, that might be kind of boring to some of you guys, but you know. But inside the hood here, it's basically trunk space is what the front of it here for this vehicle is. Some of them I think do have a spare tire in there, I believe. And if you crash this vehicle and it lands upside down on its roof, it has a system built into it to where after like about a few seconds or so, it automatically sets off like a special discharge thing where doors will automatically break off, so that the driver and passenger can get out of the vehicle if they're not able to, for whatever reason. It's kind of a little similar to airbags for vehicles, pretty similar to that. But let's go ahead and get in the driver's seat, show you how it looks on the inside. And it looks so amazing on the inside. I really like the design choice that they went with for their interior of it, as well as the color for them as well. That's the center dashboard, steering wheel, center console. The seats even have a really cool design as well, I think. I think the logo is pretty cool too. It kind of almost looks like a owl or snake head to me. It looks more like an owl to me. And that might be why that one vehicle they literally called the owl, so, or similar to that. And it has carbon fiber material inside on the interior as well, which I also really like. There's some on the dashboards as well. And then look up at the roof. The doors, they open up like kind of like scissor doors, pretty much. That's how they open. Same thing for Lamborghini. They do the same thing. They open the same way. And we got a small rear window here in the rear of it. Got a light there on the roof, which is designed pretty cool looking as well. And let me check my phone right quick. I think somebody's trying to call me. Okay, well, I don't know that number. I think it was a spam call. What a number I knew. Text somebody right quick. Wasn't somebody at work trying to call me. Somebody sent me a text from work. Got to answer right quick, so I'll be right back. Well, it could be also my mom trying to call me for some reason, but it doesn't say that's who it is for some reason. It just says, like, unknown caller, just the number is all it says. So if it's my mom, I don't know, because normally it would say, and it doesn't for some reason. But anyway, I can do at least maybe this car for now, and the other car there next to this one for now. And I know this string wasn't really all that long this time for this one, especially after having to wait 4 months, pretty much almost 4 months for my next one. And I probably could have did this live stream earlier, but I didn't really think about it and kind of just waited until a little earlier to finally start doing it. But yeah, we'll get around to doing the next crash test live stream hopefully sometime soon. Hopefully not as long as it took for me to do this one. But here we go, getting ready to crash it. And the rear of it does like kind of split apart from the cab area, like the other vehicle does. It's the Isuzu Savetta, like it does. Pretty similar to it. Now, it landed on its side, and let's wait and see if the doors will break off because of that. I think it has to probably physically be on its roof, but the engine is still running, so I'm going to shut it off for now because it will damage itself because of the vehicle being on its side like that. But we're going to roll it over onto its roof so I can show you what I was talking about with the doors popping off like they do. Since it's already on its side anyway. Alright, it's on its roof. There it went. It's called Pyrotechnic Charge Triggered for both the doors. It's a built-in system that the vehicle has so that the doors can break off if it ends up upside down on its roof. The driver and passenger can get out pretty easily, and that's because the doors open up in like a scissor motion, and well, can't get out when it's upside down on its roof because they're not going to fully open. So they got to have a way to break away from the vehicle with a discharge system like that can break them off. So now the doors are off, and you can remove them, push them out of the way, be able to get out of it. axle shaft for, I think, the passenger side of it is broken because of the crash. So even though the engine still runs, it's probably not going to go anywhere. But we're going to flip it back over onto what's left of it, of its wheels, from the damage done to it, and restart the engine. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere now because of the axle shaft being damaged like it was. So we'll just shut the engine back off. So as you can tell, the tire's no longer flat on the ground like it normally should be, like this one. It's now broken, tilted in and up, which had broken the axle shaft for passenger side of it. But here's the aftermath damage to it after crashing it. We will crash test this new vehicle some more at some point, but right now that's really all I'm gonna have time for to do with it for now, because I, believe it or not, do work today, so I gotta have time to do a couple things before I gotta get ready for work today. So that's why I'm only doing this one crash test with the new vehicle for now, and one other one. That other one has spotted in. So from the interior of it, judging by the damage done, looking at it from the interior, the driver and passenger look to probably would be okay. Would definitely maybe have at least some bumps and bruises, bump scrapes and bruises, but other than that, they'd really probably be okay. And then last vehicle for today, for now, is going to be the Ibishu Covette, which is all we're going to do for now. Forgot I had the engine turned off, so I'll crank it back up right quick. And this is one of the front-wheel drive vehicles that I was talking about. So, earlier, at least. It and see what happens to it, and then take a look at the aftermath damage done to it. Did a nosedive to the front end pretty hard there, and the engine seems to be somewhat unharmed. It did receive some damage, but let's see if it's still drivable. Definitely still drivable. Probably difficult to steer it now because of the damage. And yeah, it's probably my mom trying, but I'll answer it here in a minute. But yeah, just to show you guys, this is one of the front-wheel drive vehicles. It doesn't have a drive shaft or rear engine. That's because the engine's here in the front. And that right there is the transmission, like I was talking about earlier. So now, it kind of landed on the roof in the back of it. Once it came back down towards the ground, started getting wrecked and damaged. So any passengers in the back seat, they would probably have some head and neck injuries, but other than that, they'd probably be okay for the most part. Take a look from the driver's seat how it looks from there for the driver and passenger in the front. Believe it or not, they look to. It looks like they maybe also probably be okay. They would definitely have some injuries too. But anyway, that's pretty much all we can do for now for this crash testing video. So exit out of the game, and if you guys have enjoyed this live stream for now, of course, please let me know in the comments below if you did, and leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification button and click on all to be notified of all new live stream uploads and regular video uploads I make and do. And so until next time, which I'm hoping to be maybe, say, tomorrow or even Saturday at some point, will be my next reaction stream. And my next new BMG Drive crash testing stream will be either also sometime later this week or even also sometime next week. But until then, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And for now, thank you all for watching.